Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you. Interesting. Wow. Tuning in to the day's energies, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Let's dive in, shall we? All right. The overall energy of this reading is the Tower in reverse. Someone's trying to hold something together that's trying to fall apart. Feels like something's falling apart. Someone's trying to keep something from falling apart, keep themselves from falling apart. Feels like this is a reality that can no longer stand. A false reality. A false reality is collapsing and someone's trying to hold it together. Someone's trying to keep this false reality from collapsing. They don't want it to fall apart. It feels like whoever I'm tuning into who's trying to keep things from falling apart, it feels like it's a reality that they've created. It doesn't feel, it feels fictitious. They're trying to keep a reality that they created from falling apart. It feels inevitable that this is meant to fall apart, fall away. They can't walk away from this. There's some type of emotional attachment. Someone is attached to the story, attached to this way of being. They're not walking away from this. They won't let go of what this story is. What's the story? Some story that now you're coming into the energy here. It looks like you've escaped whatever this tower is, whatever this false reality. It looks like you got out of this situation. Feels like this person tried to trap you in some type of reality, some type of story. And you're not a part of it. You're not trapped. You're not stuck. It looks like you have created a different way of being. It feels like you're not stuck in this reality small reality, false reality that they created for you. It looks like you've learned a different way of being, a different way of showing up. You've expanded, you've grown. Despite what this person, the Ten of Swords, feels like this person is saying a lot negatively about you. With Nine of Swords in reverse, it feels like they've tried to create a story, a false reality, to keep you stuck, but you're not stuck. I'm tuning in. This person won't let go of whatever the story is about you. It feels like there's some reality that they've created, some story about you. You're not even stuck in that story. You're not in agreement with whatever the story is about you. This person is projecting a lot onto you. I get the feeling that the story that they're telling about you, told about you, that they said that you would never be able to leave. You couldn't leave this. but you did. They had this story about you being stuck, you not walking away, you being very stuck. But that's not true. They're stuck. They're stuck with the story that they've told about you. It's like they can't let go of this story, even though it feels like you've shown, not by what you're saying, but how you're behaving, that this isn't your story. So what I'm getting here is the overall energy of this reading is about people projecting onto you false stories, deception. And it looks like you're not a cooperative component to those negative stories, to those negative projections. All right, the hidden blessing is the Five of Pentacles. This person with these stories are trying to get you to be abandoned, to be left out. This person's trying to get everybody to turn against you. Their challenge, they came out in the challenge position, is that you're the Empress. You're in this divine feminine energy, and they've tried to create injustice, justice reversed for you. They tried to create an injustice. They tried to get people to abandon and create an injustice for divine feminine. Wow. The Empress came up in what's the hidden blessing, and the Emperor in reverse. So I'm perceiving that this past person is a Emperor reverse. Someone who's trying to create some type of control over you, over your story, over your narrative, over your name. This person has some type of injury in regards to you. They feel slighted in some way. It doesn't matter if it's real or not. A perceived slight. This person is very codependent, dependent, toxic, obsessed, and insecure. This person is wildly insecure. It feels like the hidden blessing is not having to deal with this person and their injustices anymore. It doesn't feel like it feels like maybe this person wanted you to be abandoned by them. They wanted to abandon you, create a smear campaign about you, get everybody to abandon you. And I feel like you're like, cool. I think you should just keep going with that. I think you should keep abandoning me. I think that's fantastic. And I think everybody who joined you in thinking that this is okay treatment of me, I think they should continue to abandon me too. This is happening for you. The right people abandoned you. Tried to create an injustice by abandoning you, but that was the blessing. Period. What you're leaving behind is the Seven of Swords. What you're leaving behind is lying, cheating, stealing, deception. Someone who uses communication to control, deceive, coerce. This person doesn't use communication to create more connection. This person just uses communication to get what they want. And I think you're tired of this bullying type of behavior, this very toxic type of painful communication. What else is the viewer leaving behind? Wow, okay. You're leaving behind choosing to stay in a relationship that's not for you. A relationship where you have to be in out of alignment and unhappy to be in. You can't be yourself. You can't be happy in this relationship. You're leaving that behind. For some of you, this might have been a marriage with the Hierophant coming out. Oh, and some of you, there might have been third parties. Holy cow. Confusion around third parties. Holy cow. Okay, so you're leaving behind confusion. This person, to be in this relationship, they sow confusion. They keep you confused purposefully. There's something about work. They don't want to work with you. You're leaving behind people who don't want to work with you, that are actively work against you. You're leaving behind relationships where you might be technically in a relationship, but you feel so completely alone inside the relationship. In a relationship where it doesn't feel like the people in your environment care for you, like you, support you. Maybe the family that you married into, they're not against you. They're talking negatively about you. It doesn't feel like anybody in this environment. It feels like your people are long gone. It feels like this person that you were in this toxic connection with, someone trying to control the narrative about you, it feels like it's all their people. So you're leaving behind a toxic person and everybody who, all their flying monkeys, all their enablers, quite possibly even a third party. Maybe even third parties. Okay, and this is in regards to the third parties. If that was accurate, it's coming to light. You're leaving behind all of the third party heartbreak. There's something about the third party is being seen. People are seeing, reworking, and seeing cruelty of third parties, the betrayal here. Feels like you're leaving a lot of pain behind you. All right. How to get the most of this energy is the High Priestess. Tuning into your intuition. Your intuition. You're very intuitive right now. There's some subtle energies here at work. It feels like you're very intuitively guided. That's how to get the most of this energy. It feels very internal. Even though this is talking about like external activities and behaviors and people, how you're navigating this the most effectively is inwardly. That's so interesting. Feels like you're navigating this by using your intuition, your unlimited potential. Feels like from where you're at, you're not focusing on the problems, you're looking at the unlimited potential, where you could move, where you can focus, where you can expand. You've shifted how you move. It also feels like you're keeping your moves to yourself with the High Priestess. Feels like you keep your own counsel, that you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, as Abraham Hicks would say. Wow. Tower. Okay, so this reading started with the tower reversed. Someone trying to stop a tower. Someone trying to stop a reality that they created from collapsing. So it does look like it is going to collapse. Tower. Okay, so this person, the reality that they tried to create for you, a story about you, a story that you'd be stuck in, that you couldn't leave behind. It feels like the story that they created was about your inability, your fearfulness, real judgment, very judgy, very painful. I'm getting a message not to interfere with this tower, to allow this reality to collapse. With Hanged Man, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything. You're just watching. Same with the High Priestess. It feels like you're watching this from afar. You're not doing anything. The collapsing of the tower is people seeing the truth about this lying, cheating, stealing, this deceptive person who's created a lot of deception and a lot of unhappiness. People are seeing that this person is toxic. They're wanting to detach from this energy. This person's world is falling apart. Doesn't feel like you're doing anything to make it collapse. It feels like the opposite, that you've just pulled your energy away from this person. Your energy's not there. So their reality is collapsing. They're having a tower. They're being seen. It looks like after the tower, things move very quickly. Feels like everybody's on the same page after the tower. It also feels like you've moved on already from this. It feels like your energy's far away from this collapse. That's why the tower's collapsing. You didn't engage in the story they were telling about you. It feels like you just took all your energy and went elsewhere. And without you trying to defend yourself, without you trying to fight, without you putting your energy in to the story, it just didn't hold water. It feels like you focused your energy on what you wanted to create for yourself. And by not engaging in this energy, it's falling apart. All right. Wow. What's supporting you is the King of Wands. The King of Wands has a salamander on its cloak in the original imagery, meaning that this person, the King of Wands, makes moves that are protected by under fire. It feels like right now your moves are protected. It feels like you are very protected at this time. It feels like also you're making very courageous moves. Empowered. Following your desires, following what it is that you want to create. The King of Wands is also oftentimes the entrepreneur of the tarot. And so it feels like you might be building a business, focusing on what you're building. It's the most nurturing of masculine energies that I'm perceiving. Nurturing in that growing something, creating something that you desire. And again, your moves are protected. It feels like you're making bold moves, and that you can make bold moves in this energy because the energy is supportive of you. Whatever this energy is that's been blocking you, trying to block you, trying to create blocks for you, it feels like in this energy they're gone. They're ineffective. They're having a tower. Their world's collapsing, and it feels like it's time for you to make moves in this energy. Interesting. All right. What's supporting the viewer? What type of moves? In regards to work, the Knight of Pentacles is usually horse isn't even moving, and this one's galloping and looks very happy. It feels like what's supporting you is making moves maybe around work, business, growing your abundance, focusing on what you're building, focusing on, it feels like work or whatever you're wanting to create. That you have options now that the lies are being exposed. There's something about the tower that this person is having that's giving you energy to create what you want, or permission to create what you want, following your options. It's interesting. It looks like there are people showing up to support you. It feels like it's hard to accept support. It feels like you're not used to being supported. It feels like you it feels like there are people wanting to show up and support you. You might have a bit of fear around allowing people to support you. This is what's supporting you, and it feels like what I'm tuning into is there are people showing up. They want to work with you. They want to support you. There's even possibly romance showing up, but it feels like you're not trusting of people. It feels like you've gone through there's a new pathway opening up for you that has more people, more support, more guidance, more options, love. And it feels like what's happening is happening for you. It feels like it's putting this past issue to bed. It's putting it to rest, because it feels like you might be hyper vigilant, not trusting of anyone else, not knowing how to trust people after being betrayed so painfully in the past. But what I'm getting is there's a new pathway, a very loving new pathway. And it looks like the opportunities are around work, going after what you desire, creating what you want. You have a lot of options, and love even coming in, a loving partnership. But it feels like it feels like you're learning how to accept support from the right people instead of just, I'm never going to trust anyone ever again. Feels like you might be letting go of that and inviting people in who can support you, who can love you, who can treat you the way you want to be treated, that aren't going to treat you in this old way because you're not that old person anymore. All right. What to be mindful of is judgment. What to be mindful of are those judgments, like I just said, creating beliefs that you might have created from a really painful place. I will never trust anyone else again. Like that kind of, I will never invest in someone ever again. I'm going to keep my own counsel. I'm never going to let anyone close to me. It feels like that's those type of beliefs, those type of judgments. To be mindful of them. Does that make you happy? I think at some point those type of beliefs kept you safe from this type of energy, from someone who was very abusive, manipulative, coercive, who judged you, tried to create a narrative about you. I could see why you would create beliefs like this. However, in this time, it feels like things have shifted and it's time to shift that judgment as well. Maybe something like, I'm only going to work with people who work with me, who invest in me. Not as a transactional relationship, but being wise, being smart about who you invest in. And if you expend a little energy on someone and then just wait and see if they can return that energy. If they can't, then you see what level that they're giving at. I think you're no longer investing in people who don't invest in you. Yeah. Four of Swords reverse. It looks like you've cut contact. It doesn't even feel like you're making them out to be monsters or bad people or anything. You're just like, hey, I don't receive this as loving, so I'm going to go somewhere else. It feels like you're being wise, discerning. You've changed. The people in the coffins in the judgment, they're being called out from this small way of being inside the coffin to a new world, a new life. And it feels like this person in the past tried to create a tower for you, tried to get you stuck, and instead you created a new life for yourself. Didn't want to stay in that coffin, didn't want to stay in that small way of being. And it looks like going forward, you're utilizing that judgment. I'm not going to work with people who don't want to work with me. Period. They don't invest in me. They don't care in me. That's okay. Not everybody has to care for you and love you and adore you and support you and uplift you. But if they're saying that they're in a relationship and they're not giving that, then it feels like you've learned a lot from this experience. Yeah, it doesn't look like you're easily manipulated now. Any last messages? It does feel like there's someone who's trying to pull you out of your intuitiveness in how to get the most of the energy was the High Priestess. It feels like there's someone trying to get you to go back into that hermit energy. Someone who's showing up to pull you out of your High Priestess, high potential, unlimited potential intuitiveness. And they want you to feel alone. That's really how they feel. But they're trying to get you out of your intuition, trying to get you to engage in this low vibrational word salad fight. And it feels like this person is just alone and lonely themselves. And it looks like you're just not engaging in this type of activity. You're walking away. You don't see this as an opportunity for you. So, all right. I'm going to continue this on to Patreon and do an extended reading. I'm halfway through the reading, so if this has been resonating and you want to continue over to Patreon, I'll be looking at health, relationships, creativity, new opportunities, and career and finance. So if you're interested in continuing with this reading, there's a link in the description box below. It says extended reading here. You click on that link, it takes you to Patreon, right to part 2 of this reading. If this is where I leave you, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day. Bye.